Hello and welcome to day 31 of the festive tech calendar. My name's Gareth Jones. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer and MVP in Azure. And this session is slightly different. We're going to do a hands-on lab, and it's all to do with implementing Azure intersite connectivity. So the whole lab is based around VNET Peering, and VNET Peering is probably the simplest and quickest way that we can connect your VNet virtual networks. And virtual network peering enables you to seamlessly connect to Azure virtual networks. And once they're peered, the virtual networks actually then appear as one. There's two types of VNet peering. There's regional VNet peering, which connects Azure virtual networks in the same region, and global VNet peering, which connects Azure virtual networks in different regions. Well, what are the benefits of doing this? Well, first of all, it's private, so the network traffic between the peered virtual networks is private, and the traffic between the virtual networks is kept on the Microsoft backbone network. No public internet, gateways, or encryption is required for the communication between those virtual networks. That's done automatically. We get performance. It's a low latency, high bandwidth connection between the resources in each of the virtual networks that have been connected using the VNet peer. And from a communication perspective, it gives you the ability for resources in one network to be able to communicate with resources in a different network once the virtual networks have established the connection. It's seamless, so you've got the ability to transfer data not only across these VNets, but both of these VNets can be in different subscriptions. They don't have to be in the same subscription. So imagine we have two organizations that maybe are going to do a merger. They've both got resources in Azure. We can connect those two virtual networks together in those different subscriptions, in those different tenants in Azure, and that enables them to then maybe migrate data or have that interconnectivity between those two different organizations. And there's no downtime. So when we actually establish the VNet peer across the two virtual networks, there is no downtime after during the creation and once the peering has been created. And it's super easy to set up, as you'll see in the lab. So let's set the scenario. Imagine our organization is called Contoso. It has different data centers in Boston, New York, and Seattle, and those offices are connected via a mesh WAN wide area network links with full connectivity between them. Your job is now to implement a lab environment that reflects that topology that we've had of our existing on-premises networks and verify that functionality actually works. So the objectives of the lab is, in the first task, is to provision the lab environment. In the second task, you will configure local and global virtual network peering, and then the final task is to test the intersite connectivity to verify that what we've actually set up actually does work. So this is a simple overview of what the lab will actually look like. You'll see we have two different regions. In region 1, we have two resource groups called resource group 0 and resource group 1. Inside both of those, we have a virtual network and a subnet and a virtual machine. And then in region 2, we have the same. We've got resource group 2 with a virtual network, a subnet, and a virtual machine attached to that subnet. And you can see in task 2 and task 3, we will be carrying out a local peering between VNet 0 and VNet 1, and then we'll carry out global peering between VNet 0 and VNet 2, and VNet 1 and VNet 2. So the only thing you need for this lab is a Azure subscription, which you can sign up for a free trial, or if you have access to MSDN, or maybe your corporate subscription. Make sure you get permission, obviously, if you're using corporate resources. You just need an Azure subscription and simply go to the link aka.gd/festcal2020lab. Note this URL is case sensitive. Once you go to that link, you will see it'll link you to my GitHub repository, and the step-by-step guide of the lab is here. And simply all we need to do to provision the lab environment is click the Deploy to Azure button, and the rest is pretty self-explanatory. So once you deploy the resources, or click Deploy, you'll be prompted for your credentials. Go to your in the Azure portal, click Review and Create, deploy. It'll take about 10 to 15 minutes to deploy the resources that are required, and then you can play with VNET Peering to your heart's content. I hope you enjoy the lab. I hope you have a fantastic new year, and I hope next year maybe it's a little easier on us all. And I wish you all the best of health, and I hope you enjoy the lab.